to the new podcast, episode number 62. My name is Steven. I am joined, as always, by producer and the co-host with the most, my man, Kelly. Let's get to it. What a night we had last night of MMA, UFC putting on their year-end show with 3 title bouts. What a night of fights it was. Everyone was texting me, you watching the fights? Obviously I was. You know what I mean? Obviously I was. I wasn't missing this card for the world, for sure. Crazy night going down. We'll break down everything that comes with that. Good weekend of other sports, too, with Combate Stockton. They're putting on some back-to-back shows, and they got another show next weekend, too. Combate's pulling out all the stops for their December events, so that's kind of cool. And obviously a lot of football going down today. Football time. Playoffs right around the corner. Did you have a good weekend, Kelly? What did you get up to?
Well, I worked Saturday, and then I went and watched the fights with you guys.
Did you now?
So that was basically my weekend so far.
At the beautiful St. Martin pub.
Yes.
Gotta give a special shout out and plug to those guys down there. Great place to go. And if you're ever in the neighborhood, stop on by. Always friendly faces. And great food and great drinks on tap.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, shit. Let's get to some MMA news. I think it's probably the kind of the biggest shock to come out of MMA news this week. I think is the cutting of Liz Carmouche, Kelly. Kind of right out of left field. I did not see that coming, especially for a women's division that needs talent, and especially the veteran presence of Liz Carmouche. I thought it was one hell of a weird move. You know, no one's really saying much of what the reasoning behind it is. Liz Carmouche coming out, and all she's really saying is basically, you know, I beat up all their contenders, so they don't want me around. I don't know if that's the truth entirely, but still, I could see why she'd be upset. I think that statement was made out of being pissed off from really getting a good paycheck, but you know, was there something going on backstage? Did she say something? Did she piss off the wrong person? Who knows? But I thought it was just a really, really weird move. I didn't see it coming at all. Liz Carmouche, just break her down a little bit here, you know what I mean? Just to see, you know, why, you know what I mean? If we can dig and delve into this situation of even why they would cut her. Only 35 years old, which is a prime MMA age, really, for a person who's been fighting, you know what I mean, for a decent amount of time. You are a veteran at that time. Fighting, she's born in out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Can't be that. You know what I mean? It can't be that reason. Fighting out of San Diego, good fight town. Many a good gym out there. But just so weird. You know what I mean? Just very, very odd. She's got 20 total fights, 13 wins, 6 by knockout, 7 losses, only 5 by decision, only 2 submissions. So she's got a good record even for her losses. Aren't terrible losses. Always tough and always in there. Former Marine, which is huge, you know what I mean? For any women to make the Marines is huge. And she's very, very tough. I know probably the most memorable fight, I'd have to say, obviously would have been her Ronda Rousey fight. Where she, you know, if you remember, Kelly, was like, and if you haven't checked out, check it out. Because Ronda Rousey was in trouble. Liz Carmouche was cranking the shit out of her neck in the first round there, right off the bat. And she almost could have lost there very easy. She really had that neck crank in super deep. But if she would have had the choke, she would have won. But since it was just a neck crank, Ronda just knew she could not lose that fight and had to power out of it. And really only losing to, you know, I mean, some pretty good people. You know, she lost to Valentina Shevchenko, only by decision. You know, and that was for the belt recently. Beat Lucille Pudilova, beat Jennifer Maia, both by decision as well. Though, you know, maybe that's the thing about her. Maybe that's what we are saying. You know, she isn't that exciting of a fighter. She does have some good wins, but still, most of her wins are by decision. She even has a win over Jessica Andrade. You know what I mean? TKO win over Jessica Andrade. That's a huge win. She's lost to Alexa Davis twice. That's kind of weird. Of all people, to lose to Alexis Davis. That's kind of weird. Lost to Miesha Tate, beat Lauren Murphy. She's even beaten Caitlin Chukagian. You know what I mean? And she's fighting for the belt. So that's kind of weird. What a weird stat. You know, the loss to Ronda Rousey, beat Caitlin Young, who was a tough fighter back in the day too.
Maybe they just want newer talent, you know, and she's up there as a gatekeeper beating some of these new and upcoming people. So maybe just want her out because of that, you know what I mean? Like, she's never going to fight for a belt.
Yeah.
So might as well let other people have their shot.
I guess so, but you still can't cut a person like that, and with a division that is so depleted of women already. I think that's the problem. I think you have to keep her around just for that reason alone. You know what I mean? I hear what you're saying though, Kelly. They are trying to promote, and that's kind of exactly what she was saying, that they were trying to promote a younger team of women, and she's just, beating their contenders, but she kind of is. She even has a win over Valentina Shevchenko back in 2010. Maybe 10 years ago, and obviously she lost to her recently, but TKO'd her, you know what I mean? That's out of Red River Rivalry C3 fights in Oklahoma. That's kind of hilarious. What a career, though. She's got some really big names she's beaten. You know what I mean? Even for being 13-7. It's just kind of odd. Like I said, I think it was a bad move. I think it was a bad move, and they just made Bellator's division a whole hell of a lot stronger with that. It's just an easy slam dunk. The Bellator's sitting here like, yes, this is exactly what we need, is these women fighters. With Cyborg, now they have Liz Carmouche. They also have Kat Zingano. You know what I mean? It's just like all these women were still really good fighting form, and the UFC just let them walk away, and now they have bolstered Bellator's women's division to a level where it's respectable. That was always the big knock on Bellator, was it wasn't respectable. And to be an easy slam dunk, I couldn't see Liz Carmouche going to PFL. I think it'd be a terrible career choice for her, especially she'd have to fight Kayla Harrison, who's very, very tough right now. I think she has a much better chance of actually going to Bellator and actually winning a belt. You know what I mean? Weird move, though. I have no clue why the UFC did it, to let someone walk like that. But that's the thing, Kelly. Is the talent pool good enough at that lower level, at their contenders really level right now, to even be that good? We see the likes of Macy Barber, even Aspen Ladd, you know what I mean? She's pretty good, but I think they would, I think a win over Liz Carmouche for one of those women would be a huge fight, a huge stepping stone for them, and that would give them the next step up, the title shot contendership fight, so getting rid of her, I think, has actually done damage. I think it's done damage.
What they should do is go on like one of those tours, what they did Dana White
Contender Series?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he so he went and found a bunch of talent outside the octagon. Maybe that's what he needs to do with the women's division right now. He's getting rid of half of them that will never fight for a belt, and just finds all these champions from smaller organizations and brings them in.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't know if the talent pool is that deep. I just don't know if it is. If per capita, I just don't think there's a whole lot of women fighter out there. They just don't have the straight numbers. It's just that they don't have the straight numbers. But moving right along. Speaking about women fighters in the UFC, Clarissa Shields is now in serious talks with the UFC, obviously with her presence at the UFC last night in Las Vegas and talking a storm up, with the media. Obviously, everyone wants to talk to her. It's been well documented her on this show. Two-time gold Olympian, which is huge. UFC loves that shit. And for her, I think women's boxing isn't paying her anywhere near, I think, what UFC will actually pay her. So I think it's a great move for her to come out and fight right away. Amanda Nunes, I don't see it as a very good marketing plan for both the UFC and for Clarissa Shields. I think she should fight somebody else, and I think who that person should be Holly Holmes. I think her versus Holly Holmes would match up really, really well. Holly Holmes is very, very tough too, you know what I mean? But I think you have the boxer versus boxer, I think is a much better match. If you want to give her someone tough, that's what I'm just saying. If you want to give her a top contender, I think Holly Holmes makes a ton of sense. Anybody else, there's a huge list of anyone else, but that's the other last thing you want to do with her, is to kind of have her fight an easy fight, a nobody, and to lose. But I think, she's 0-0, Kelly. Even though she's a boxer and a very good boxer, she's still 0-0 in MMA. So you can't really put her up against somebody, who's like, 20-2, or even 14-5. You have to put her up against someone who's 3-0, someone who's 1-1, 2-1, something like that, to really protect your investment. It's just one of those things where it's such a tough call what they're going to do with her, and how are they going to fit her into the puzzle that is the UFC.
CM Punk.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I agree. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see CM Punk get the shit kicked out of him by Clarissa Shields. Oh, man. Now you're talking. Think of how many people would watch that one. The first ever gender match and CM Punk fans alone, you know what I mean? And then boxing fans. Everyone will watch. You'd have MMA fans, boxing fans, and wrestling fans all in one viewing party.
It's the biggest fight ever.
It would be the biggest fight ever.
And everybody would think it'd be a good fight. You know what I mean? It's like nobody has the advantage in that fight.
Exactly. Oh my god, Kelly, you're too funny. Oh man, but still, seriously, on a serious note, that could work out. But yeah, you know, for as far as MMA experience, they're on a level playing field.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But I like the move. I want to see Clarissa Shields in MMA, and I can't wait. Maybe that's why they're making these cuts, because they're making moves for these big names like this.
Oh, shit.
Have at it. You know what I mean? Have at it. If they get rid of a few little thousands with those other women fighters and sign the likes of Clarissa Shields, I think it's a power play move by the UFC, and I think it could really make the women's division really talked about once again in like it was in the Ronda Rousey days, and I really like the move a lot. Probably the biggest fight announcement this week was easily Francis the Predator Ngannou will be taking on Rosenstruck come March 28th in Columbus, Ohio. I am super jacked up for that fight. Kind of a weird announcement though, Kelly, you know what I mean? Because really, I thought that Francis Ngannou was going to be getting the title shot. And this announcement comes to a sigh of relief, I'm sure, to Stipe Miocic, because he's like, thank God I'm going to fight this guy again. You know what I mean? You can't let that guy have chances with punching you in the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One time you're just going to wake up on the floor after he's punched you. And that's just how Francis Ngannou fights. But I like it as a number one contendership bout. I think it's the easiest bout they have going right now for the UFC heavyweight division. With two real killers in Rosenstruck versus Ngannou. I think you obviously have to weigh their resumes to who can win this fight when you're really looking at it on paper. And I think you have to go to the Overeem fight and who was obviously more successful in that bout. Obviously, Francis Ngannou with the quick KO. Rosenstruck did have a gruesome KO against Overeem, but was kind of losing that fight up until that point. And that one went 5 rounds. So, you're going 5 rounds with heavyweights. He's shown at least he has somewhat of a gas tank to go that 5 rounds, but I think he's going to have one hell of a time and have his hands full with Francis Ngannou. How do you see that one going down, Kelly?
I see Francis winning, basically.
Yeah.
I think Francis is too big and too lanky, and he has just as much power, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to disagree with that. Like I said, just from what we've seen, I think it would have made more sense for Derek Lewis to fight Rosenstruck. I think that would have been a really good matchup. But here we have it. And this one is going down in Columbus. This is the matchup though that would have made so much sense for an African card though, Kelly.
Yeah.
South Africa. You got the two best heavyweights right now, and they're both African-born dudes. This would have made total sense. Like Kenya, maybe Egypt or something like that.
Yeah.
South Africa. The options are there. You know what I mean? There's got to be other infrastructures there, like major city infrastructures I don't know about too. You know what I mean? That are very popular, that are down there that could support an event and have a big enough arena to be able to do that.
Be a good African card for sure.
Yeah.
That's so weird how they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Maybe put some Nigerian fighters on there too. You know what I mean? It's a slam dunk. The amount of Nigerian fighters fighters they have right now, it's a slam dunk for a good African card. I've been talking about this for a long time. UFC needs to do an African card, and I think it would be huge. I think it'd be huge, and especially to turn around lives and do that shit, and have a positive promotion. And we're in an event where some young kid, some young girl, some young boy sees that event and says, "That's what I want to be when I grow up." You know what I mean? That's the shit that these sports are doing. That's the kind of shit you want to hear. The positive stuff about this, where people really drove themselves. They see these guys in Francis Ngannou who grew up just like they did, and think, hey, I have just as much of an opportunity as that person does if I just try. The other big fight that was announced for that same card, and it makes sense, Cody Garbrandt versus Rafael Assunção. Cody hanging with my boys. Garbrandt going to be going back to his hometown in Columbus, Ohio, taking on Rafa. A very tough 135-pounder, and I think this is a matchup where both dudes are going to come out hungry. Assunção, having his ups and downs, and obviously Cody Garbrandt just lost 2 fights in a row, Kelly.
Yeah.
This could be his 3rd loss. And that is huge for a dude who was, who was the champ and had one hell of a rivalry with Dillashaw, really putting 135 on the map. I think he really did. It really showcased 135-pound division being a division of these little killing dudes that are very, very tough and very exciting. And 135-pound fights are usually very, very exciting. And we see none other, but I think it's a bad matchup for Cody Garbrandt. That's what I wanted to talk about here. I think this is a fucking really bad matchup for a dude who could be facing his third loss. Rafael Sunsao could probably just hold him down. I could easily see that happening. Sunsao just going for the takedown and holding Garbrandt down. Cody Garbrandt, I know he comes out of alpha male, but he's still not the best of a grappler. He's obviously a stand-up striker is his specialty. But he's never been a grappler guy or a jiu-jitsu guy at all, really, in his entire career. He's been a boxer. So I think it's a bad matchup for him. Who do you think takes that, though, Kelly?
I like Cody, man. Hang with my boys. I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah. No, I think his striking and his stand-up could be too much for Rafael Sunsao.
I think even training with American Top Team, he probably has really good wrestling anyways.
Yeah, you got to have at least a little bit of good wrestling for training with him. And I think obviously with, they're really going to train him to be able to defend against a takedown. Lots of dudes from that gym have fought Rafael Sunsao. So they got a lot of tape on him. They got a lot of experience on him. So
yeah, man, Cody.
He's going to have to come out and do his best. That's for damn sure. And especially in his hometown, it could be his bounce back fight in a big win. But I think whoever loses could be walking. Whoever loses this fight could be fighting in Bellator next year. Going down. I'm excited for that card. They're starting to announce a lot of the cards coming in the new year now. They've been a bit sloppy with their card announcements. They have another one that's coming up. They haven't even announced the main event, but they're still advertising. Like, why are you advertising this event without a main event? I thought that was kind of weird. That was really kind of weird. Big news coming down from the main press conferences this weekend, and I think it has to be the biggest announcement is John Jones himself coming out and basically saying, I'm pretty much going to move to heavyweight come the new year. And I think it's a perfect move for him, a perfect move for the UFC, and a perfect move for the heavyweight division of the world, really, to make the heavyweight division really that quintessential division. Again, it's kind of been up and down with a lot of back and forths. We're really the main title belt kind of being on hold for a while, really, with with the Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier basically trilogy that's going to happen here. It really hasn't been anyone else fighting in a long time for that belt. So I think I like it.
What's going to happen when Dominic Reyes knocks him out?
I think he'll move for sure to heavyweight. I think he has to move for sure to heavyweight. That's exactly the great point, Kelly. Does he get run off in 205 or does he go off as the champ? I think he's going to lose that match. I think Reyes is coming in super hungry, and John Jones is really looking past. He's really looking past his opponent and saying I'm fighting at heavyweight. So next fight he's ready to call somebody out. He's definitely going to be ready to call somebody out. I think a smart move for him to call out would be Alistair Overeem. I think that'd be a good call out for him. I know they've trained before in the past, but I think if you want to make a statement, and really, it could be an easy fight for him, really, with Overeem's jaw just not being that great and John Jones' just lankiness and deceitfulness with his attacks. I think it could be an easy win for him, and to really get a quintessential win over that huge gatekeeper at the heavyweight division. If he comes in, tears up John Jones in no time, tears up Overeem, in under 5 minutes, and then moves to a next fight after that, like Derek Lewis, let's say, Then you get that one, boom, title shot. I could see them obviously giving them a title shot right off the bat. But I think if you want to make a good move for him for that division, kind of, to settle in and not just be rushed in, I think that's the best move to do. Give him tough competition, but don't give him the toughest right off the bat.
Do we see the Brock Lesnar fight?
Ooh, yes. I don't know. Brock Lesnar's getting older too. I think the WWE is just constantly throwing money at him. He hasn't even shown up. He's doing what Brock Lesnar does. He's the champ and he's nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's always been about scheduling it for Brock Lesnar. I think it's hunting season. I think he just I'm not doing anything during hunting season but hunting. I think that's just who he is. Mm-hmm. I think that's just who the dude is. So I think that's probably what it is, because it really is hunting season, and maybe come the summertime he'll talk and we'll see what he has to say. But I think for money wise, Oof. That would be a big money fight for both those guys. But I don't know if John Jones needs that money. Maybe he does. Only time will tell. Any way you slice it, though, John Jones moving to the heavyweight division is a huge move and a win for the UFC. The other big announcement that came down from all these press conferences was Dana White basically just coming out straight up saying it is a good probability for Conor versus Khabib in March of all times. He's saying basically they will 100% fight in 2020. And now here he's saying he's even planning a fight for them in March. Like, how is that even fucking possible? You know what I mean? Like that. They're already putting these fights ahead of other fights. So I just don't know how they even do that. Because I'm pretty sure the Ferguson fight is, you know what I mean, the Ferguson versus Khabib. When is that fight? I think it's in February, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
Exactly. So how are you going to place a fight even that far? A month afterwards. Really, you know what I mean? So I thought the timing of it was ridiculous. Why you would have said March, but either way, the fact that he's saying they are going to fight is insane. So I don't like the matchup right now. You know what I mean? I really don't like it a lot. I think Conor's obviously looking for his redemption for that win. I think it's a stupid move for him because I think it could be 2 losses for him, 2 easy losses. But I just don't. That fight. You know, all these great matchups UFC has been announcing recently, and they bring out this one. I think it's time to move on from that one. These two dudes have got way bigger things on their plates.
There's been a lot of videos of Conor just like lifting weights, and he's looking pretty big too. I almost think that he thinks that it was a strength issue with Khabib, not a skill issue. Like he's just trying to pack on muscle as much as he can, thinking maybe he can throw Khabib off or something, even though it's, like fucking years and years of wrestling. It's not just a strength thing. Although it probably would feel like a strength thing if you were grappling Khabib.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It'd feel like superhuman strength because of his skill.
I'm sure
and he does have a lot of muscle, obviously.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Grappling a dude who is super strong and super skilled, that sucks. Yeah. I can tell you that much right now. That sucks, and that's Khabib really in a package, really.
But yeah, it just looks like Conor's trying to get huge. Maybe that's why he's fighting this at 170, so he can keep getting bigger. And then he's going to try to cut down to 155 again and try to keep as much muscle as he can.
I just don't. I think it's just too close of implications to be calling this type of shit. You know what I mean? With 2 dudes who already have fights. You know what I mean? And I just think they got to go a separate paths. Work their own thing. I hear you're saying though. You know what I mean? Conor has been working out. I've seen the same shit too. He's been doing a ton of workout shit. He's always been fit. You know what I mean? He's always been. I think that's what I would do too if I was like mega loaded. I think I'd want to work out like a little, if you got nothing but time on your hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think Ferguson might win too. So.
Yeah, for sure.
That's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be a fight regardless.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's why the UFC likes that matchup, is because it could work out either way. Whether they win or lose, they both lose their next fights or both win their next fights.
I'm saying like it's a month away and he's gonna fight Ferguson. You're gonna have some injuries.
Oh, man. For sure. There's no way that's gonna be a quick fight.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's no way. But you know what I mean? I think these guys have bigger things on their plates. Do we see? I think Conor versus Jorge is a good matchup, and there's a ton of 155s waiting for that title shot against Khabib as well. So I think it's just one of those things where these guys got better things to do right now than fight each other. Maybe make it for next year main, next December's main event for some shit like that.
That's why everyone's calling out Conor, because Conor's the money and Khabib's the belt. It's like people want the money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good call, Kelly. We haven't seen that in a division in a long time, where people do have the option at 155 and at 170, where it's kind of like that division. Those divisions have kind of really turned into the money fight kind of divisions, where these dudes are jumping up and jumping down, and there's a ton of dudes in there. But the two dudes who are the champions right now of those, with Usman and with Nurmagomedov and Khabib. It's two tough divisions that really you got to be one hell of a fighter to even think about challenging for the belt, as we saw last night. But yeah, I didn't really like it. But only time will tell. What if someone gets injured? You know what I mean? Then it's all off right there. Only time will tell how that'll shake down. But maybe Dana's just saying it to talk. Maybe he's just trying to fill air and just saying whatever. Trying to trick the press, saying, let's see how far they'll run with this. And they ran far. All right. Any news you want to talk about, Kelly? Any news that you've been fucking pressing about?
I got nothing.
No, that's all good, man. No, that's all good. I'm looking for a real hot topic. Something that's really been grinding your gears. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna poker in your side. No, but exactly. No, exactly. Nothing pissing you off. Let's talk some video games. Needless to say, I played a ton of Orna this week, as I always do. I've been slowing it down, though. I've taken my foot off the gas pedal, just been coasting around. I've really been enjoying it. I'm not feeling the need that I need to play, or feeling the need that I need to grind the raid boss, or do anything like that. Just going around, playing the game at my own speed, and I'm still enjoying it. The son of a bitch in the neighborhood, too, he's just wrecking shop, though, again. Bastard, he's taking a ton of spots from me. It's all good. I'll take him back. He's really been playing hard, though. He's been really going hard at it. But have at it, man. Have at it. I'm playing my pace. Still taking spots back from him, but he is pretty hard. He's got some kind of setup going on right now that is actually giving me trouble. But I have the ability to change the class too. That's the kind of thing I want to talk about the game too. Is it just they really geared it up so that casters are really an afterthought in it, and that's what I've chosen throughout the entire time. Casters are super fun versus PvE, but PvP they lack because it's all about that big hit, and the casters can hit big, but if you're on the defense, you don't get to attack first. So you're getting hit big, and then it's game over. It's game over right off the bat. You don't even get a chance to buff up or do anything like that, and I think that's what I'm finding. But that's what the developer needs to do, is to really change it up to make them on an even playing field. I can easily switch classes, but I don't really want to. I don't want to be like everyone else and be that one thing that works good against everything. I don't really want to do that. I think that the guy needs to change up a little bit, make the Omnimancer or this caster class have that little bit of an edge like the other classes do. The Thief class is really cool, has a super hard edge where you just can't hit him, Kelly. You just can't hit him. The Nyx, that's his special ability. You just can't hit him. You know what I mean? And it sucks. And then you have the warrior class with the Titan Guard, which is super, super tough. Starting with your buff is huge. And then you have now the Bahamut, which is one of the bigger race now, just because your pet is unbeatable. So Omnimancer, your only thing you really have is you have Last Stand. That's it. You have a chance to live if you get crushed. If you die, you have a chance to live. And it doesn't work all the time. Doesn't work all the time. You know what I mean? And it may work any other time. But I'm just griping a little bit, but the game is still a lot of fun. I'm still going to play, but I just wish they would change it a little bit just so there was more diversity in the characters and the classes that people chose in it. Fun game I played this week on the Game Pass with my brother was Ark. Kelly, Ark, lots of fun. I played the game tons by myself, and it's a really, it's an okay game. It's glitchy. That's the thing I'll say about it. When you get into Ark, it is glitchy. But it's a super fun game playing with somebody. The entire time, I've played the game for a lot of hours. I have a lot of hours logged on to the game, but it's just one of those games where you can't, playing by yourself is so different than playing with two people. Playing by yourself, you can only go so far in the game. And I have lots of hours just doing that. So I never really get to enjoy playing with a buddy that you can talk to and work with. And playing with my brother was a lot of fun. We did a ton of building. He's really good at the game already too. So it was super easy, just having two people working together to build shit too. You're going twice as fast alone right there. Just to be on the straight up carrying goods and shit like that. And having that extra shot. So we made his own server, and we're just us playing together. He did tweak the stats a little bit, so that's okay with me. We're just having fun. So taming dinosaurs is like way, way quicker. So taming dinosaurs, because Kelly, it could be out of control. Like to tame a certain dinosaur could take up to 4 actual hours. Like actual hours.
Fuck that.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Who wants to do that? And you're constantly having to watch over the animal and feed it and make sure it has enough narco berries and shit like that to be able to go over it. You know what I mean? If you don't have the proper kibble, you have to have the proper kibble and shit, and then it speeds up faster. But to make that kibble is next to impossible. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun with that. We were just taming tons of cool dinosaurs and really rocking, really, the damage we do isn't anymore, but just fighting them is a lot of fun too. Just having two people fight and two people gather materials is a lot of fun. We built a really cool place. We got T-Rex, We got a T-Rex, which was super cool. Never had a T-Rex before, just because, like I said, it's sped up. The taming process is sped up, and the T-Rex is super badass, man. It is awesome having him. It was like super funny. Kelly, I was just like out like gathering some materials, and there's dinosaurs everywhere. I think he like upped the dinosaur refresh rate too, because there's fucking dinosaurs everywhere, and I was just like attacking something to gather materials, and a Triceratops got in the way, so the Triceratops attacked me, and like since it was beside my base, like all our dinosaurs like just rushed in on this dude. It just fucking messed him up. But the T-Rex came along and just one hit him with like nothing. It was crazy, man. It was super cool. So I can't wait to play more of that game. But it was a bit glitchy. I got a bad story to tell about Ark. Back when I did play, I had a ton of dinosaurs by myself. The Argentinus like birds are super awesome. Like they're like a gigantic eagle you can ride on, Kelly. They're fast, they're tough, they're super cool, and like flying in the game is the game changer, right? You're flying in a dinosaur game. You know what I mean? So being able to fly in the game is super important. And these Argentinus like eagles are super badass, and I had one, and I'm flying. You fly around to there's these different nodes that drop down, and they're different colors for different for what type of gear is going to be in it, right? Obviously a different certain color is going to be a much better tier of gear inside that node, and they're all over the place. So at night, what is the coolest thing? Because at really night you can't really do much. You don't really want to be walking around at night. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, there's like two raptors just jumping and attacking you. You know what I mean? You could be dead instantly, basically. But at night you can fly around and you can see these nodes in a super far off distance. So you want to fly to these nodes. And one time I was flying back from one of these nodes and the game just glitches out. Game just crashes. So like I'm flying, but I'm thinking even in the back of my head, okay, I got a parachute. I've been in this situation before. I got a parachute. I just need to log back in and I'll be fine. And log
back in, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I logged back in and I wasn't dead yet. I logged back in and I'm falling, but the game is glitching out, but the controls aren't working, and then boom. I just watched myself die. Which really sucked. So then the worst part about it is I go back because now I can't find. There's no way I'm going to find my body, and there's no way I'm going to be able to find my pet. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to find my dinosaur because he's going to be hovering around. I don't know where the fuck he is. So I have an idea where I got to go back. So I go back to the place, find my body, get all my stuff, but then I got attacked, and my dinosaurs are all fucking glitching up. I got attacked by these small flying dinosaurs, and then I died again, and then I never made it back. I just got so fed up because I was so far away. I'd have to run so far with just none of my I had all my dinosaurs with me, and real sad day. But playing with two people is super fun, and we have a ton of cool dinosaurs. Oh, we got there's called tech dinosaurs, and we got a tech stegosaurus, and it's super cool. It's like a robot stegosaurus, Kelly, but it like lights up, and at night it was super cool because it was like all the spines of a stegosaurus, you know what I mean? And each one of those is a light, but they light off in synchronicity, you know what I mean? Like it's in a sequence. Yeah. So at night you see this cool glow to them. It's super cool. Stegosaurus is badass too, and it's just a fun little game, especially having another person with you. It's you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine having 3 or 4 people, Kelly. It'd be super fun to have that, and just to play on your own server and just battle other dinosaurs would be super cool. Just to be able to get to that part where you can really roam around the game and really have a lot of fun. Because I know even when you're playing the normal game, anything bad can happen, and it usually does. And then worst case scenario, a game glitches out, and then you're really in trouble. But by myself, I just played a lot of Oblivion. This week. You know what I mean? Really loving the game. I'm just, that game is just me to a T. First, you know what I mean? The single player treasure hunting RPGs. Can't say enough about it. I know a lot of people hate on those games, but they are literally my favorite game. The treasure hunting game where it's always different. So I've always loved Fallout. Fallout was just like that too. You know what I mean? You couldn't play the same game twice. But Oblivion really tickling my fancy, as they say. And just a fun game. For instance, Kelly, I just was walking around doing these different missions. It's not bad. At least they give you a cursor. You know what I mean? Where you got to go. The battles aren't terrible, and I just went to one place, went in, and boom, it's just like a fucking cave filled with bandits. no for no rhyme or reason, but they all had bows and arrows, and I was like, fucking right, this is exactly what I need, because that's what my guy is. I'm like a wood elf thief. I want to join the Thieves Guild, and I think always being that stealthy dude in the game was always very, very fun. I played extensively for one of my times running through Skyrim too. I've done it obviously for Morrowind too, and super, super fun way to play the game, just to be able to sneak around and steal from people. Having tons and tons of money just because you're always stealing from people or taking shit is a really good attribute in the game, and being part of the Thieves Guild, it's really a lot of fun. And then just let alone to be able to, hit the people for that, because in this game, Kelly, obviously sneaking allows you to hit the person for, triple the critical damage too. So you're just walking through cave with, sneaking around with your bow and arrow, bow a dude in the back, boom, he's dead. Because you did fucking 3,000 damage to him, and he only has 30 hit points. You know what I mean? So that's the reason, really fun part about it too, about the game, and I'm just really, really liking it. Still got to play a ton of it. Obviously, I've barely scratched the surface. I did the first Oblivion part, kind of got fucked around. I ran out of arrows. So the second time I saved, I've played these games many a time. I know you got to leave a lot of save spots so you can go back to a certain point and not be fucked around. In these older style games without as many auto saves. So I did the half of the mission, went out, got some arrows, came back, and then I finished it off with the guys, and then they want me to go back into I'm trying to save this town, which Oblivion Gate opened up in front of, and I think I'll see more Oblivion Gates, but it was fucking tough, man. It was really, really tough. Especially, that's the only thing about me is my guy is I got to get the jump on him, or else I'm not doing a ton of damage, and I can't really take tons of hits. So if I'm not getting the jump on him in these areas where there's just tons and tons of dudes, it does become tough. But I have low level gear right now, and I'm really excited to play the game. I really like the progression of it, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It's such a fun game for me personally. It's such a fun game to go back to, especially since I didn't play it the first time around. So it's really a cool experience for me, and I can't wait to keep playing it and see how the story pans out. It's actually pretty good. Graphics are decent. It's actually pretty good. It's not so far off from Skyrim. That's the thing. Skyrim had really good graphics, but Skyrim came out for the 360 too. So the graphics aren't so far off on the game, and I'm really enjoying it for that. How about you, Kelly? What games you get up to this weekend?
Yeah, I played a little bit of GTA 5.
Oh, nice.
I haven't been on in a long time, so I just went on to troll people.
Oh, cool.
So the first thing I did was I left the apartment, or my CEO office.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yep.
And then I went down to the street, and I kind of drove around till I found a cop. And then I got out of my car and kind of walked beside the cop until someone came along, tried to shoot me. And then the cop would get shot first.
Oh, awesome.
And then I'd hide, and then all the cops would be on this guy, and I'd just kind of run away. Yeah, so I did that for a while. I just trolled a bunch of people. You get, I think, 2 stars or 3 stars right away for shooting a cop. I think it's 2 stars.
Wow.
So yeah, instead of just him shooting at me and nothing happening,
yeah,
everybody get 2 stars right away. And then a guy pulled out his oppressor, which is like a flying motorcycle with rockets and stuff.
Crazy.
So I took my fastest jet out, but it doesn't have any rockets or anything.
Oh, okay.
And all I did was I trolled him with it. I just outran all his missiles and everything, and I just circled around him, and he couldn't shoot anybody else because all his missiles were kept auto aiming on me.
That's
and
hilarious.
Then eventually he just left the lobby.
Wow, yeah, Kelly, what a move! You're hilarious.
So I trolled him pretty hard with that, and then I played a little bit of Apex Legends as well.
Oh yeah, cool.
They have a Christmas thing going on. With special Christmas skins. I'm not really too big into the Christmas.
I hear you on that. Every kind of game does it, and it's kind of it's kind of a little hokey to me too.
Yeah, it's like Christmas music. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong. I love Christmas. Christmas, but keep it away from my video games.
I always thought that if music was good, it'd be played all year long, not just on Christmas. So.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I do when they have when it snows in the game, that's different.
Yeah,
that's cool. But I hear what you're saying, the skins when they're trying to make everyone looks like Santa Claus or elf stuff.
It's bullshit. It has Christmas trees on it. You're really gonna use one of those in spring or summer, a Christmas tree?
You tell him, Kelly.
Exactly. So it's kind of stupid. I actually preferred it last time they had a special thing for Halloween, because the monsters actually look kind of cool. You could use the monster type skins anytime you wanted, really. But with these Christmas ones, it's pretty seasonal.
That's true.
Other than that, nothing's really changed. I joined these one guys. They had like over 2,000 kills each.
Wow.
Really using. I don't know if it was just like they only use their mains and that was like it. But yeah, they had like over 2,000 kills each, and I was actually like the worst on the team. So it made me feel so bad after like three games. I just quit.
Wowzer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? You kind of, you know what I mean? See how, you moved up and see how it went, and, you know, now you have a attainable goal to move up to, right? You know, to kind of know exactly what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. So I have like 2 more levels of gold, I think, and then I'm in platinum.
Ooh.
And I think it goes like 2 levels after that too. But it's harder every time because what happens is it's like 24 points just to play the game, like in a ranked match.
Right.
So every time you get a kill or a knockdown or you last a certain amount of time, you get more points. So the goal is to get more points than you spent to get in the game.
Weird.
So if
Okay.
you get in the game right away and you die and your whole squad's dead, you're minus 24 points. So you go down on the ranking.
Right.
But if you can get like a few kills, you'll go up on the ranking. So it's harder every time because there's like a bigger buy-in, I guess. It's kind of like gambling.
That makes sense. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah. So and then every time you rank up, you also get like a special skin or something like that too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that style for it.
But it does make it a lot better because whenever I forget to do rank now, it pisses me off because like I'll just like jump right into a game after work or something, and then I'll join and we'll like launch, and then as soon as somebody dies, it'll like leave. I'm like, what the fuck? That cost some points, right? And then I'm like, oh fuck, no.
I'm not in ranked.
Yeah, and then also if you leave in ranked, I don't know if it's like a certain amount of times, but it could just be once. You actually get like a timed ban.
Wow.
So it could be like 10 minutes or something where you have to wait to play another game.
Crazy.
So there really is no point in leaving because you'll just have to wait that time anyways.
Huh.
So that's why it's better because people won't just fucking take off right away too.
Well, that's cool then. That makes sense. I like that. So it seems like they made ranked for more like a player like your style at least, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because, you know, I like having a team. You can't really win, especially when you're in, like, the gold ranking. You can't win a team with one person. Like, everybody's pretty good. Everybody knows what they're doing.
Of course, yeah.
So.
Well, that's cool. Then platinum right around the corner for you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't really, you know what I mean? I didn't get a ton of time to play video games because really Oblivion really did take up a lot of my time. There's just so much shit to do in the game, so I was kind of looking around to see what I would want next, maybe for the Game Pass. But I just really couldn't see anything I was really then interested in. I know that Gears of War 5 is on there, you know, and maybe the Halo shit is coming out, but I think then maybe I'll see what they come out if they come out with something cool. I think they come out with the new games next week or something like that. They have released a few new ones as well, but I didn't really like any of those. But I'll just keep playing Oblivion then.
So I'm thinking, man, like people are they're probably already developing for the next consoles. Because they already announced it. Like Microsoft already actually released pictures
of
their next console. So people are gonna want to develop for that one, right? So
of course.
They almost like stopped developing for the Xbox 360. Sorry, for the Xbox 360 for sure.
Yeah.
The Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah.
Because the next ones are just around the corner.
Exactly. Kind of a waste of time unless they're all just obviously finishing up for it, but they're not going to start anything new for it.
Yeah, but I think also like because of how big you can make games on the next console and how they're just using SSD drives, just solid state, right? So there's not really like loading between areas and stuff like that. And render distances are going to be a lot better.
Mm-hmm, nice.
I think they're going to have to develop, like, it's going to take a lot longer to develop a AAA game. You know
right,
what I mean? Like, indie developers, things like that, it's going to be the same, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But for, like, AAA games where you want the big-time graphics and the big-time voice acting and all that stuff, it's going to take a lot more to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the size of the games is going to have to be bigger.
Well, it used to be like that too, right? You know, and so maybe we'll get back to a time where games fucking actually work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than people just putting out these shitty ass games that just don't work for some reason and then charging people full dollar.
And also, as we see when a new console or new generation launches, there's always seems to be like one AAA game that gets in there, and it's like one of the first ones, and people start playing it, and it becomes a franchise. Like people are like, I want to play this next year too.
Exactly, yeah.
So people are trying to get in on that as well.
Of course. Only time will tell. How Stadia even does, you know what I mean? It's not really doing great right now, but maybe it'll turn it around. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah, apparently Stadia does a lot of like, unless you have super high speed internet, there's a lot of.
Yeah, it's not very good. Yeah,
a lot of lag.
Let's break it down. Back by popular demand. Reviewing the reviews. Figured I'd stick international. You know, I love doing America. America's just so easy, though. It's just so easy, America. You're just like a easy open book. Read you like a book, America. So I'm gonna go a little far out again. Spain. Taco Bell in Madrid. So I figured, why not? Taco Bell in Spain, you know what I mean? I thought there'd be a lot of hate because they could obviously make good tacos there, but it's actually got decent reviews. 3.7 stars out of 1,171 reviews. It actually looks pretty clean, too, from the inside. The food actually doesn't look half bad. That's what I'm kind of seeing here, is that it actually looks like these people actually, whoever owns this Taco Bell actually cares.
That's different.
I know, that's odd. Let's get started with the first one here. HT, 16 reviews, 3 stars, 3 months ago. Pictures are nice. Food is not that spectacular. Thumbs up for the boys and girls working so hard. I will come back, even though food quality is not the best. Wow.
I love how it started.
Yeah, I know.
And it ended, like, obviously. Thanks,
so
Captain
weird.
Obvious.
So weird, though, isn't it? Basically saying the food sucks, but I'll come back. Who says that?
Yeah.
If the food sucks, I ain't coming back.
It's like, food quality is not the best.
Obviously.
I thought it was top-notch food. No?
Taco Bell.
It's like organic, GMO free, right?
Oh shit! I don't know what kind of meat. They must be using some better quality meat over in Spain or something than they do in America or Canada.
Maybe they have like a limit to how much cardboard they can put in it over there.
Exactly.
Not saying it doesn't taste good.
Exactly.
Whatever they season that cardboard with, fucking delicious. I can
C'est
eat that all day.
magnifique.
Yes.
Oh shit! This one's funny too. HS, 28 reviews, 4 stars, 5 months ago. It's Taco Bell. That is reason enough to like this place. Reasonably sized outlet. Has outdoor seating too.
Wow.
This person's easily pleased. That's hilarious. Just like he's saying the exact opposite. He's saying, "Cause it's Taco Bell, that's why I love it. Cause it's it's Taco Bell, that's why it's the best."
Yeah.
They have nachos there. Actually, that was kind of weird. This person here has gave him 5 stars a year ago. This person loved it. 229 reviews from this person and 780 photos. They had the photos of Taco Bell. Weird. They actually have like nachos though. That's kind of weird. Best cheese sauce. One person saying. This person saying the service is good, but the ambient can be improved. I'm guessing the ambiance. So it's like it's just a Taco Bell, homie. Fucking check yourself. One person, it's okay. Well done. I love those reviews. That's what I would do. I would just like go around reviewing everyone everywhere, just saying it's okay, 3 stars, every place. It's okay.
I like this one.
Oh yeah, this was the one I was gonna read. Yeah, I love this one. Yeah. FM, 13 reviews, 1 photo. They don't take care of their customers. Someone stole our backpack, and none of the people who worked there showed any interest to help us. So take care.
It's like, which one of them was wearing a badge? They fucking sell tacos and shit.
I know what the hell are they gonna do? Call the police?
Yeah, it's so
Whoops,
funny.
sorry, your bag got
My
stolen.
bag got stolen. Please help us. Like, what the fuck?
Here's a taco.
Would you like a taco?
It obviously sucked you got your bag stolen, but what the hell are they gonna do, man? Come on, give me a break.
So you give them 1 star.
Yeah, exactly. So they get 1 star. My bag got stolen here, and they didn't do anything about it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, too much. All right, that'll be the key one here. Let's find the bad ones here. We got the bad ones. This person here, 2 stars. Oh, it's a single review too. Single review. CR, 1 review, 2 stars. 1 year ago, the Taco Bell food store looks great. Taco Bell food store. Okay. That's weird. The taste was great, but the adult meal is like a kid's meal. The appearance of the food is not how I imagined it would be, or close to what it looks like on the advertisement. True with that, buddy. You're true with that. But I'm telling you, that's fast food. This person doesn't get up to much fast food, and good for you, because that's fast food to a whole. That definitely doesn't look like the fake shit they put in the advertisement. But Taco Bell food store. Interesting. Taco Bell food store. They only have 1 review. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? They need a bit of work on their reviews, and just gotta go back to the drawing board. It's their first review, so I'm not gonna tear them up. Wow, this dude here, 963 reviews and 1,500 photos. Wow. This guy here, 5 stars. Fresh tomato and cheese. Tastes less artificial. Beer is an option with a combo. That was interesting. Europe's got it going on, man. I want to get beer with my food. You see all these places. Burger King sells beer, McDonald's sells beer, Taco Bell sells beer. Why the hell not? Okay, this one's amazing. I may just round out the show with this one if I don't find something good. This one here is amazing. 1 star, 1 review, SS. This guy is American. Love it. So why do you close so effing early? Taco Bells in America close at like 3. This is rude. What are the drunk/high American students supposed to do? Think of your clientele before you think of yourself. Jeez. 5 people found that helpful too. 5 people gave that one a thumbs up. I love it. 1 star. This guy he travels to Spain. He travels to Madrid. Gonna go on a vacation with my frat buddies, and we're gonna go to, man, we can't speak Spanish. Let's just fucking go to Taco Bell, and they close at 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and they're closed. How could they? How could they be closed?
That's like the
I know.
ever.
I know. Exactly.
That's like when do the bars close? Close 2 hours after that.
Exactly. Oh man, poor guy. The tacos. Oh wow,
nasty.
Yeah. That just not look good.
Looks like the inside of a diaper.
Oh my god, that does not look good. Let's read this one. Let's round it off with this one. JW, 90 reviews, 85 photos, 1 star 2 years ago. While I don't make a habit of frequenting Taco Bell, they do have a bean burrito which can be made vegan. Though, I love this already, though not necessarily healthy. Anyway, I made the mistake of ordering one from this Taco Bell, and this was a mistake. Good work on that, buddy. Get this guy a fucking thesaurus. Unlike Taco Bell in the U.S., this Taco Bell does not seem to understand the meaning of bean burrito. See pics. He's using bean when he's using stars with it. You can use quotations. You don't need to use stars on it. They literally gave me a tortilla with a few scraps of a pico de gallo and next to 0 beans. And there is no beans in there.
That's true.
While I politely approached the younger manager about this, he gave me a hateful, scathing look and denied they should have any more beans in the burrito. See the photo and judge for yourself. Then he proceeded to scold me, suggesting that I should pay another euro for beans. I do not recommend the Taco Bell at Maquista for anyone, especially for vegans/vegetarians.
So I wonder how much the actual bean burrito was. Because if it was like super cheap,
Yeah,
then they're not going to put much in it. But, you know, I mean, like, they're asking for €1 for beans. Like, that doesn't seem like very much money. Like, is that like double the beans for $1?
I think it'd be like $2.50. It's one of their dollars though, but it'd be $2.50 of our dollars. Still,
it's not very much.
No, still. Yeah, maybe he's just taking, you know what I mean? Maybe just not very beans at the top. Everyone, poor service. Now we're seeing the bad ones. Still, it's Taco Bell. I just love it. Still, even in Spain, people still are going to Taco Bell expecting top-notch service. And then they're going to gripe about it. That's the best part about it. Who goes out of the way to gripe about Taco Bell? It's just been such a mystery. That's why I love this segment of the show. It's so odd to me. You know what I mean? It's so odd to me that these people, this is their podium, this is their grandstand to be able to gripe. People are going to listen to me hate on this Taco Bell. I just love it. Never sees it. Good, did pretty good. Taco Bell, and I think we should do a Taco Bell in the States because they are really bad in the States. They gotta be. And Taco Bell in Spain really did it. I like it. Well, we'll just take a quick little breather here, folks. We will be right back after these brief messages.
Do you get mad at little girls talking about the weather? Try smoking a joint, you boomer. This podcast, once again, sponsored by Yeti Microphones. Putting the Yet and Yeti. I don't know what they're called.
Water, the drink of choice for all UFC fighters the world around. Except for you, Colby Covington. We don't want you to drink us anymore, you bitch. Brought to you by water. Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed our commercials and go grab yourself a cold, tall glass of water on the house. Tap water, that is. Breaking it down, the fights that were around the globe this week. Starting off first with Quintet Ultra going down. You'll be shocked to find out, Kelly, that the Team UFC won it in the end. Really good match. Caught some of the highlights. It was some cool shit. Wasn't great, this is what you expect from grappling matches, but hey, that's how she rolls. Sugar Shane O'Malley beating Takanori Gomi by guillotine. Hector Lombard representing WC then beats Sugar Shane O'Malley by heel hook. We got Anthony Rumble Johnson then beats Hector Lombard. But they goes to a draw. They both get eliminated. Gregor Gracie then defeats Clay Guida via armbar, and then Gregor Gracie goes on to beat Anthony Smith too. Oh, they go to a draw as well. They both get eliminated. Gilbert Burns then comes in for UFC, beating Yves Edwards. That's a bit of a mismatch right there by rear naked choke. And then Gilbert Burns with taking on Sakuraba. The time limit went out, and both judges decided that Gilbert Burns won the match. Number 3 tournament roundabout, Mendez and Jay-Z Cavalcante both go to a draw, get eliminated. Jake Shields, actually arm triangles Mark Munoz, and then beats Cub Swanson via Cub Swanson got injured bad. He injured his knee really bad in this, and it was against Jake Shields too. Oh shit! Yeah, and then Jake Shields goes to draw with Glover. James Krause guillotines King Mo. And then Gilbert Melendez and James Krause both go to a draw with eliminating Team WEC. I kind of like the tournament style, how they do it. It seems really interesting. In the super fights, Gordon Ryan beats Alexei Olenek. By no surprise, this dude's just tearing people up. But to tap out Alexei Olenek by knee bar in 1 minute and 7 seconds, Kelly, that dude's on our level. I would like to see Gordon Ryan make a switch over to the UFC. That'd be huge news. And then in the final matchup, Clay Guida goes to a draw with Babalu, Renato Soberol. King Mo and Anthony Johnson both go to a draw. Gilbert Melendez and Shane O'Malley both go to a draw. And Anthony Smith and Jay-Z both go to a draw. And with the rules, the special rules, Gilbert Burns versus Jake Shields, since both athletes ran out of time, the judges give it to Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns takes it over this match over Jake Shields. I kind of like that. The tournament style kind of team versus team grappling matchup, and Team UFC takes it. Cool. That was really cool. I'll have to check out more of Quintet Ultra when the next one comes around. It seems like it was actually a success. A lot of people were talking about it. Breaking it down quickly, Combates Americas, Stockton. Went down Friday. It was actually a good card. I actually really enjoyed it. Lots of finishes, Kelly. Basically every fight was a finish, except for the main event. It was really, really cool with Horacio Gutierrez defeating Marlon Gonzalez by decision. It actually was a good fight, but the fight before, Cameron Church versus Alex Sanchez, that was a really good fight too. They had a lot of good finishes on the card. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of weird because they were like Tito Ortiz would come in and commentate, and then they had this other guy, this Ghost Pepper Gonzalez. He came in and commentated for a fight, and then they had another guy come in and commentate for a few fights too. So it was kind of weird, and they also had it set up so that they had like the post limbs, you know what I'm talking about, like after the main event. You know, they still have fights after the main event. They're lower end, like they would be on the pre card, but the place was empty. That's the only kind of sad spot about it. The place was pretty empty during the main event. Like there was really not a lot of people there. Basically, the floor was filled, and it was pockmarked throughout the stands.
So it was like a Muddy Mouse main event. That's sad.
It was a little bit smaller than that. But it was a decent card, though. That's the shitty thing. I really enjoyed it. But the cool thing is they announced this Ghost Peppers guy is going to be in their year-end show next weekend on the 20th. It'll be their one-night tournament for $100,000. So the first fight is just one round of 5 minutes, and then the second fight is 2 3-minute rounds, and then the final fight is obviously the normal 3 5-minute rounds. So I'm actually really excited for that matchup, and all the different fighters are all from different countries, so it's really cool. And they had this Ghost Pepper guy is representing America, because he's from Redondo Beach, which is right beside Stockton, and so it should be really, really cool to see how that pans out with all the different fighters from all around the world, and everyone wants $100,000. So it's a really cool show. I actually really want to watch it next weekend, or I'll definitely record it or whatnot. I'm really excited for that card to go down. Combates, but the main play-by-play guy, he is fucking terrible. I don't know his name is, Kelly, but it is atrocious. It's got no chemistry. Juliana Pena is the only thing saving that whole fucking commentary team. She's really smart. She's really good at what she does for being the color commentator. And then they have that, they usually bring in a third guest or something like that. But when it's just Juliana Pena and the other guy, she's the really only shining star. The other guy is atrocious. Zero chemistry. Doesn't really know what to say. I wish they would have went with somebody else, but I think they had to go with somebody just because for being bilingual too. Let's break it down. UFC 245. Colby Chaos Covington versus Kamaru Usman. Huge card. What a night of fights last night, man, going down. Fuck, it stacked. Tore up from the floor up. This card was great. It was one of those things, though, unfortunately, where it was the undercard outshone the main card, and it's just one of those shitty ass things. Oh, one thing I actually got to talk about, Kelly, before I get into UFC is the Combates America. There was like this whole gel thing where the guy came down to the ring. It was at Horacio Gutierrez, and he comes down the ring and he's got like too much gel in his hair. So, like, I've never seen this before. So, like, the ref's like, no, you can't come in. You're just, like, super sticky. It was, like, from like, palm oil shit, you know what I mean? He had in his hair or some kind of crap, you know what I mean? Like, wax, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, some gel wax shit. And so they made him wash his hair. So he's, like, washing his hair in the bucket, you know what I mean? Just pouring water on his head. And comes back, he's like, nah, this is still not good enough. Wash your hair again. So they make him, he washes his hair again. This time they're using a towel and they're really scrubbing his hair. Comes back again, and the ref's like, no, this is still not good enough. So the ref is like rubbing his head with a towel now too. It was like the weirdest. It took him forever to get this gel out of his hair. That's how sticky this shit was. You know, what a guy though. Like, you're gonna come out to the ring with this stuff in your hair, and you can't even wash it out. It was just a little bit of a sneaky move, but it was pretty funny. Never seen anything like that. I know, never seen anything like that. But back to UFC here. Great card. Getting started. Jessica I taking a unanimous decision against Viviano Araujo. Really kind of no shocker there. Jessica I really needed to win hard on that one. Brendan Moreno, he beating Kayakara France, the training partner of Alexander Volkanovski. He takes a loss, but the one good one was Chase Hooper versus Daniel Teemer. That was a really good fight. It's a shame that those guys didn't win fight of the night, because that was a really cool back and forth fight with Teemer just really rocking him on his feet, really, getting some crazy moves, but getting taken down and then getting into that full mount triangle, really had nowhere to go, and the referee really had no choice but to stop it. He was just in such a compromised position in that one. He was really going nowhere. Matt Brown getting a huge win over Ben Saunders. Did you see that one, Kelly? Whew, yeah, beat the shit out of him. Yeah, that was crazy. Huge win for Matt Brown coming back. I hope he got paid on that one. Huge win for him. Cool to see him on this year-end show. I think it was a really good matchup to have. Omari Akhmedov beating Ian Heinisch. Heinisch is now taking a little bit of a fall here. That's 2 losses in a row for him. And gets in there, tough grappler, but still, you can't be taking those 2 losses in a row at 185. I'm having a hard time finding his wheels at that weight class. Irene Aldana KOing. Crazy KO against Ketlin Vieira. That was a crazy one. Knocked her right the fuck out. That was an awesome knockout. Huge win for Irene Aldana. She was the underdog in that one too. But the man, he's not on the Natural Born Killers list for nothing. Jeff, Hands of Steel Neal, beating Mike Perry with one hell of a beatdown. Mike Perry, I just don't think he's the same. Once your nose gets rearranged that badly, I don't know if you come back from it properly, Kelly. We've seen that with the likes of, with Mike Perry right now, and we've seen the likes with Rory McDonald, you know what I mean? Dudes, when they get their nose just destroyed, they never really come back from it. You know what I mean?
Rich Franklin.
Yeah, Rich Franklin. Yeah, good call. Yeah, Rich Franklin, good call. I just think once that nose gets broken so badly, like literally rearranged, I just think it just messes with your how you take a punch. And we see it here. He just swarmed him. Jeff Neal was just throwing with crazy intent, landing that huge head kick, and then just following up with one hell of a pinpoint accuracy on that swarm, and just really, busting him up and just knocking him down. Mike Perry had no choice but basically just to give up and get saved by the ref of that one. Great fight. And Jeff Neal's got to be in the contendership talk now. 170's got another dude people got to watch out for, and it's Jeff Neal, who just kicked in the gatekeeping door and just blasted right into 170 top 10. He's definitely got to be a killer. I think he's like 7-0 in the UFC right now, too. Like, he just, like I said, he's not on the Natural Born Killer list for no reason, and this is the exact reason why. His statement made on a huge night, for the year-end show. He probably got the biggest knockout of the night, really, and moving on in the 170 division, putting them on notice. There was another big knockout, Peter Yan knocking out Uriah Faber, but it wasn't like it was a pretty good knockout in the end, but Peter Yan, I thought he was being a bit disrespectful throughout the fight. I don't know why he was kind of being that way, kind of throwing his hands up every time, like, what, you know what I mean, like when he'd hurt Uriah, you know what I mean, shit like that. Even after the fact, even when he did knock him, basically knock him out and win, he was kind of like, what, you know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of weird. Big win for Peter Yan, but only time will tell what happens with him. It wasn't the biggest win. Obviously Uriah's coming off his big win of Ricky Simon, who was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to beat Uriah too. But I don't know. Did we see him retire after this one, Kelly? That was one fuck of a beatdown.
Oh man. Tough call. He should retire. He should have stayed retired.
Yeah.
But does he? I don't know. I think he's going to want to go out on a win. He's one of those people who have that, he has the alpha gem mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? that
True
alpha
that.
male mentality as well that goes with the alpha gym. So yeah, he's gonna want to go out on a win.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, I think he fights again.
Yeah, maybe another California card or something. I could see that. But huge loss for him. You got the shit kicked right out of him. Peter Yan's tough though. Peter Yan is tough. There's no doubt in that. Taking the W with the KO in the third round. Marlon Moraes somehow beating Jose Aldo by split decision. That was kind of crazy. I did not see that. With Jose. My shortcut I had Jose Aldo winning the first and the second round.
Yeah, decisively.
Yeah, decisively, exactly. And they only had it as Aldo winning the second round and having him lose. The one judge split decision. I didn't have it that way. Marlon Moraes was just looked beat up, especially the third round. I think the third round was definitely arguably the round where Aldo's kind of slowed down a little bit. It's only really one you could even halfway give to him. But it's so far the Dana, like you said, Kelly, Dana White always making fun of the judges and shit like that. I think it could be one of those times where Dana White is going to reward Jose Aldo anyways, and he's already announced it that Jose Aldo will fight for the 135-pound belt against Henry Cejudo.
Really?
Yeah, he's already called it, saying that he's going to fight for it. So even Peter Yan's not going to get it. Marlon Moraes is not going to get it. It's actually going to be Jose Aldo will be fighting for the belt, apparently at 135. So only time will tell how that one pans out. I think Cejudo has to fight soon enough, or he will be having to vacate that belt. I didn't like Jose Aldo's how emaciated he looked, man. He looked emaciated to shit. I don't know how he makes 135 again. I don't know how he does it, man. He's got the ability, I think, to be like to have it behind him, but I don't think physically he has it. He looked huge for 135, though. I'll give him that. Even though how skinny he was in the face and he was just physically a lot bigger than Moraes. Moraes is a pretty big 135er.
He looked good once he was fighting.
Yeah.
But at the weigh-ins and before that, yeah, he looked terrible, man.
I thought that exactly that. I thought the maybe the muscle reflex and his he's such a champion, really, and how many fights he's fought. I think it was like another day in the office for him. And I think of eventually that the instinct kind of took over for him and how to fight. So I think he did look good. He actually looked pretty decent in there. Did he have? I think he just needed that bit more of an oomph, and you just couldn't see it on him.
He could still take a punch too.
Yeah, he took a good smack there, and maybe this weight class does suit him a little bit better because he's kind of a bigger bully at 135. That brings us to the main event of the evening: Amanda Nunes taking on Germaine de Randime. It was actually a pretty good fight. It was, pretty one-sided, obviously. With Amanda Nunes just getting that takedown constantly. Second round, though, Germaine de Randime, she didn't go out. Second round, she tagged her pretty good and had her up against the fence. I think I had her for the second round, but the rest of the fight after that. Third round was a really dominating round for Amanda Nunes. And then the fourth and the fifth were the exact same thing of just her in, knee on belly, full mount, half guard, full guard, just really raining down shots, not doing a whole hell of a lot, but definitely doing enough to secure the win. And I think it, after this win, it's just really nothing left for her to do, just to be such a dominant champ, be, so winningly for such a long time, and to really, really not been in trouble for a long time too, just really coming out and dominating all these women. My hat goes off to her. Any way you slice it, Amanda Nunes is the best woman in combat sports of all time, really, when it comes to fighting in women, whether it be kickboxing, boxing. I don't think there's been more dominant champ than Amanda Nunes, and her resume just shows it here, which makes sense for her to fight Clarissa Shields, maybe in a boxing match or something like that, but I would love to see them fight in MMA, maybe not right now, but I think I would love to see it in MMA, maybe for the end of next year. Give Clarissa Shields one fight or even two fights, and then that third fight in December. I think it could be a good matchup. Let Amanda Nunes defend her other belt throughout the year, and then maybe they meet up. I think it's the only thing that really makes sense for her right now. She's just beating up everybody and handily. Germaine de Randime giving her basically the hardest test to date but still coming up on top in a dominant fashion, really winning all those other rounds with no question. Some of those rounds could have been a 10-8 round very easily, and Amanda Nunes just finding a way to solidify herself every time she steps into the ring as the baddest woman on the planet, and will go down in the history books as the baddest woman on the planet when it comes to combat sports. That brings us to the co-main event of the evening. Alexander the Great Volkanovski taking on Max Blessed Holloway. That was actually okay. It was a bit, it was pretty high pace back and forth. When you see the tail of the tape on with the amount of punches landed, Volkanovski just landing much, much more. Holloway doing enough, I think, but it was definitely a razor's slim decision in my books. But I guess enough people saw it for Volkanovski over Max Holloway. How did you see it, Kelly?
I thought Max Holloway was winning, but you know what? I wasn't paying that much attention to the fight, to be honest with you. There was a lot of we're having a little bit of a get together. So.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that too. It wasn't the most exciting because it was a bit, like Frankie Edgar fighting Frankie Edgar type thing. You know what I mean? A bit of the pitter patter. You know what I mean? Yeah. In and out. Both dudes are quick. Both dudes are landing tons of shots, but you kind of lose track of it over a while. It's really the same thing.
Attention.
Yeah, exactly. No one was really landing. It was more of a sparring match. No one was really landing the key shots. You know what I mean? There was times for Volkanovski, but I think there was maybe less times for Max Holloway, and maybe that's what the judges saw here too. Wasn't the best of fights to watch, but we have an new featherweight champion of the world, Alexander Volkanovski. So good to see an new champ. It's kind of see, they had a lot of shit talking up leading up to this about, the Holloway dynasty, the Holloway era, the Blessed era, and now we are going to see the great era with Volkanovski, and I think it's about time with, like we talked about it all week, with it was a stupid move for Holloway to be looking past him and, already calling out Khabib, and you still had a very tough dude in front of you, and he lost, and that's what we see. That's what happens when you look past a dude, and we see a perfect example of it here with Volkanovski becoming the new champ, beating Max Holloway and solidifying basically Max Holloway moving to 155, which I think is a good move for him. He's such a tall dude for 145, and I think it'll be a good move for him to move up. Mm-hmm. And that now brings us to the main event of the evening: Kamaru Usman taking on Colby Covington. It was actually a good fight. I think it actually saved the night. But once again, we've already had 2 5-round fights. Already before. We've already had 50 minutes plus of fighting. So I was getting a little bit tired. By the time, well over an hour with all the ads and the bullshit in between. It was well over an hour of just fucking 3 fights. Just 2 fights, and now you're into the third fight. So I was a little bit tired by it, but it was actually the better of the all fights. Like if that fight would have just been on its own, I think it would have been super enjoyable because they were really pouring it on. It was so back and forth. The first 3 rounds were so back and forth. It was really, Usman would get a few good shots, and then Colby Covington would land a few good shots, and then back and forth where they would keep going back and forth with this. No one really getting the upper hand, except for Usman. And Usman was kind of just doing just a bit more. But I think it was an argument that he could have lost 2 of those first 3 rounds, with the exception of the second round was a bit up in the air, and then obviously the third round I think was Usman was when he started turning it on. Just because I think it is reported that Colby Covington did have his jaw broken in between the second and third round, like just before that his jaw was broken in 2 spots, but. There is other reports saying his jaw isn't broken, so we'll have to wait till the next few days to see how that pans out. You got any insight on that one, Kelly? Did you hear anything about it?
No, but Usman's gonna love it if it is. He's like, talk so much shit, I broke his jaw.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we saw in the 4th round too. Was that maybe that hurt jaw was playing a factor because Usman definitely won the 4th round handily too, just landing the better of the shots and really cranking on his jaw. If his jaw was broken, some of those shots he ate later on were huge because of it. You could kind of see because he never really removed his right hand from his jaw. He was kind of holding his he was kind of had that right hand protecting his face basically from the third round on, just because he did not want to get hit there anymore. But the fifth round, obviously, huge win. I don't think it was an early stoppage, maybe a tad, but he was beat up. He was beat up. Like when he got up, he was a bloody mess. He just had the shit kicked out of him, especially those last two rounds, the fifth and the fourth. He ate a lot of shots and right on the jaw too. Those two shots that knocked him down were huge shots on the jaw. The ref had no choice but to come in. You just got knocked down twice. Now the dude's pounding on you. He's hitting you back of the head a few times. He's landing some other shots on your jaw again, which is clearly in distress. And I think the referee, John Goddard, made a good call. Colby Covington coming out later on as reported by Kelly himself here, just basically saying he got robbed. You know what I mean? I don't see it that way. I don't see it. I think it was a good stoppage by the ref. He put him in a bad position. He had to make a decision for your health. And Colby Covington, really the thing I didn't like about him was running out like a bitch afterwards. I just really didn't like that move.
But if his jaw was broken, it's not like you could really have a post-fight conference or talk anyways.
That's true. That's true.
So, I don't know. Maybe he was concerned about his health and wants to run to the hospital.
Maybe. I don't know. Though. The run seemed odd to me. Run seemed odd to me. I hear you. If he was in serious trouble, but like I said, we'll find out. I don't think running would have done it any better. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Who knows? It didn't look good. That's all I'm saying. You did all this smack talk. Sure, your jaw's broken. You did all this smack talk. You know what I mean? Tons and tons leading up. You know what I mean? But then, you know what I mean? To not, you know what I mean? He stood for the hand up. At least he stood there for the hand up. But then to run out after, it just was a bad look.
Yeah.
It was a bad look. That's all I gotta say. For a dude who's, this tough and that tough, and you know what I mean, gonna talk trash to run out of the ring afterwards, not even having to eat your humble pie. He ran from that plate of humble pie, and he's saying, "Fuck that, I'm not eating it." And then to post later on, you know what I mean, how he got, that he's gonna come back stronger, and how he got robbed by John Goddard. You know what I mean, there was an early stoppage and shit like that. Just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good as well. I see he's still going for the villain, which makes sense. You gotta be the villain to the end. But still, I don't know where does this bring Colby Covington, and who fights Kamaru Usman next. I think it's got to be easily Masvidal. I think it's got to be easily Jorge Masvidal is the easiest fight he fights next. I don't see anything else. Fabian Edwards was the next big talked about guy to fight. You know what I mean? He obviously coming off his big win too. But I think it just makes total sense. Unless he's fighting Conor McGregor next, I think Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal is the only fight that really makes sense for the UFC right now.
I personally think that the fight was stopped a little bit early.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Just because in a championship fight, if you're not completely out and you're like moving and like grappling, like he was pretty much popped right up as soon as he stopped the fight. And he was never really out.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Knocked down twice.
Yeah.
And it was pretty, brutal knockdowns. Like he looked like he was out while he was falling, but he just popped right back up. I think in a situation like that, where it's a championship fight, you gotta let it play out, and you gotta let the guy get knocked out. That's what he signed up for, in my opinion. If it's not a championship fight and you want to save the fighter so he can fight again, it's kind of different. But when you're fighting for the belt, like you already fought your way up there, just let it play out, is my opinion. Like you took all that brain damage from all the previous fights already. Like just fucking let him take that a little bit more and see how it goes. I still think he was losing though. I think he would have lost, but at least it would have gone to a decision, or he would have just got pummeled out and there'd be no questions asked.
Yeah, I hear you're saying. I hear you're saying. I agree with you on that, Kelly. 100%. You made it to this far. There's a championship bout. You do want to see the dude. I'm sure he'd be in that position. I want to be pounded out. Was he going to win? There was only 50 seconds left. They didn't have enough to be able to turn it around or win the judges' scorecard. Very tough to say. You know what I mean? To be able to live for the rest of it for another 50 seconds. You know what I mean? Let alone be able to turn it around. I don't think we're going to see that. You know what I mean? I think it's just what, when he, after the first knockout, he gets back up, and then him and Usman kind of tie up a little bit, and he kind of goes for that little punch afterwards, and it was like nothing behind it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's maybe what the ref saw too, and saw this guy is totally already out on his feet, gets the second knockdown, gets pounded out some more. I hear what you're saying. He did pop back up every time, but Was he there mentally? And he was truly beaten up after that second knockdown. But I hear what you're saying. You definitely do want to see, we can go to the bell or him to be pounded right out. Also, people getting into in the backstage, Peter Yan and Cody Garbrandt got into it backstage. Did you see that? It wasn't like nothing serious. Like Cody was kind of just like even before he got into his face, that people broke it up pretty quickly. They were just talking shit, obviously, to each other, and then Cody Garbrandt kind of starts stepping into him, and then and then everyone kind of splits it up. They're just talking shit about it to each other. So it's maybe a little bit of that. 2 135 pounders. Cody's trying to make a little bit of a name for himself a little bit. And obviously Peter Yan just beat up his former coach and obviously one of his training partners in Uriah Faber. So a little bit of madness there, which I like. I think that could build up something. I think 2 stand-up dudes could actually probably match up well in a future matchup, and I'd like to see that. And yeah. All in all, it was a long night. It was a long night of fights, man. That's all in all, Great card. Didn't quite live up to the expectations I thought, But if there was 2 fights I knew were going to go to the decision, I would have said obviously the featherweight title and the welterweight title. I didn't see the women's belt going to the decision, but having those 3 fucking decisions basically, with minus 50 seconds. It was a long fucking night. It didn't end till like 10:30. Bars made a lot of money that night, and everyone just having to sit around. Oh man, hilarious. Did you like it, Kelly? All in all?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The prelims obviously were like super exciting, and then main event or like the main card was pretty stretched out, like you said.
Yeah,
it was too long.
It was
losing interest in the Max Holloway fight. If it was like less main events, it would have kept my interest for longer, I think. But it was just too much. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, the 75 minutes, of fights.
Yeah,
that's just the fighting. That's not including all the in-between crap, commercials, everything. It's a lot. That's just for 3 fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was rough. Even as a fight fan, that was rough. But it was good. I'll give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B. It was pretty good. Just for what it looked like on paper, it didn't really sell that much. But a historic night, and I think the UFC can be happy with their year-end card. This is fighting. This is MMA. Great weekend, man. Great weekend. Had one hell of a fun time last night. I'm excited to play more video games. Everything coming down the pipe. Just want to give a special shout out to everyone out there listening. Thanks for tuning in every week, folks. Always love doing it. 60-second episode coming to you live. Feeling really good about this show. Still going strong, man. Still going strong. I feel like it's better and better every episode myself. Check us out at And New Podcast on Twitter. The Steven and Kelly and New Podcast coming to you live. Spotify us. Hit us up on Google. Google these nuts.
Derek Lewis spicy chicken balls.
Google them. Shit, anything you want to talk about, Kelly?
No, that'd be cool though if you were like Googling Derek Lewis spicy chicken balls and it did come back to the And New Podcast like on Google.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, why not? Well, folks, for producer and co-host extraordinaire Kelly, my name is Steven, and you've been listening to the And New Podcast.